Hello, welcome. It's so good to be back here with another video. In this video, I'll be talking about my experience with the Hybe and GEFFEN Popstar Academy Survival Show on Netflix. Honestly, I don't know why it took me this long to watch it because it's the kind of show I would normally be immediately sat for, and it had consistently been popping up as a recommendation. I am Ola Jola, singer-songwriter based in Lagos, Nigeria, and my last few videos have been a mix of pageant commentary, music industry commentary, and a book review somewhere in there. In today's video, I will be exploring the concept of artist development through the lens of two massive record labels, documenting the process of creating a global pop girl group using the K-pop methodology. But before I go on, I must thank you for clicking on this video and spending the next few minutes with me. I'm so thankful for your likes, your comments, and your views on my last few videos. I do not take it for granted. I'm also particularly grateful because your kindness lets YouTube know that something good and valuable is happening here. Also, thank you for subscribing. It ensures that you do not miss out on any of my future updates. Now, let's get into it. In 2023, Hybe and Geffen announced and released the debut Dream Academy, a talent competition and survival show that followed the journey and process of making a global pop girl group in a K-pop style. The Netflix version, which was the one I watched, is Popstar Academy. Both shows follow the same group, KATSEYE, except that the Netflix one has a lot more behind the scenes stuff. Hybe is a major South Korean entertainment multinational with multiple labels and workings in the K-pop industry. They manage Le Sserafim, BTS, New Jeans, and others. While Geffen is a UMG subsidiary managing, co-managing, or representing artists like Youngblood and Marie, Camila Cabello, Celeste, Olivia Rodrigo, etc. It appears like both record labels were already in business as they co-manage and represent some K-pop artists, including members of BTS and Le Sserafim. So they likely realized that a very healthy next step in their business would be to capitalize on the demand for a global girl group that really dominates, like we used to have with Destiny's Child, TLC, and Pussycat Dolls. The conversations have been on for a while, and there have been many girl groups, trying, putting in the work and getting some motion, but it hasn't been the same. And I think many things are responsible for that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. So Hybe and Geffen decided to combine their forces, resources, and networks behind what they believe to be the next big girl group to rock the world. What did they do? Put together a team of seasoned professionals to deliver an artist development concept start to finish, the result of which would be a debut-ready girl group. In the show, we saw the casting team work for months to over a year, scouting promising young women from all over the world, trying to build that solid top 20 that would eventually move into the survival show proper. We saw vocal coaches work with the girls, transforming some of them from people who could not even hold a note to very healthy singers. We also saw them work with dance coaches to fine-tune the fine lines and detail in their deliveries, while bringing some of them from beginner level up the ladder. The girls also got to work with stylists, image consultants, photographers, videographers, music producers, A&R, the whole stack, and it was so beautiful to see. People have spoken about how artist development has been at an all-time low for a while now, seeing as many artists go right from social media virality to the charts and global stardom. The conversation has explored whether the quality of artists and talents is declining as artists are no longer being taught how to be artists. And while that may be factual on some level, I don't think it necessarily is a bad thing, because thanks to increased access and the level that social media is, we have numerous artists who learned, grew, and developed in the brine of their own personal experiences and flavor. And this is in tandem with a demand for authenticity as a mirror that validates one's desire to be oneself as honestly and reasonably as is possible. Yet, it doesn't take away from the beauty and the structure of the training and support that these huge record labels can give promising talents. A global career in music as a talent is almost impossible to attain without the support and help that these record labels can offer, either directly or through any of their many subsidiaries. Which is why I hope and pray for any creative whose success and visibility is important to anybody's journey of healing or growth. I pray for these creatives that their path brings them to the right structures and assistance that yield the best results. So the show Popstar Academy, it was a good watch for me. As a whole, I had some high points and some low points, but ultimately it was just so good, felt so good to watch young and talented folk who are passionate and convinced about the possibility of their dreams be brought together, groomed, supported, and prepared pretty much for a career in music. Some of my favorite moments include Adela speaking about overcoming stage fright with practice. Maybe perfection doesn't exist, but I'm convinced that repetition and practice make it a lot harder to make mistakes in an actual performance. It's something that I have come to learn more recently, like a few years ago. For the longest time, I relied a lot, absolutely, on my talent, leaving things like technique and practice to the wind. And these are so vital. These elements are so vital for creatives. Talent is pretty, of course, it's valuable, it's good, but you just start to get the technique right or become a lot more intentional about what you're doing, in addition to being talented, and notice how much better your work and performance skills get. If you've seen my song covers posted on here from years back, you would notice a clear transition from just simply winging it to becoming more intentional about what I'm putting out. And that journey has been such an interesting and enjoyable one for me. I'm only excited to see how much more and how much better I can get. I also loved watching Sophia spot her errors in real time while singing Diamonds. That was so real, and it's so real for creatives who are passionate about the quality of the work they do. And for singers, I've heard it said time and over that in addition to your lungs, your superpower is really your ears. Like, and that's facts, because if you can't hear, you can't tell whether you're going in the right direction or not. Of course, my favorite vocalists were Lara and Nayoung, because right off the bat, the talent and healthy singing technique was there. I think Ilya was really good as well. And I also found Lexi's vocals very soothing and pretty. However, it was so great to watch the progression of some of the talents like Megan, Emily, and Adela. It was so beautiful to see because there was a lot of growth, and I feel like some of that work has translated even in Adela's solo career. I enjoyed watching the black male vocal coach Gabe Roland speak to the girls and teach them about how to sing in harmony. He mentioned how it was very similar to choreography, and I think it makes so much sense still on the technique and talent conversation. Singing in harmony is a skill and there's a technique to it. You can learn so well that you can tweak the melody that you harmonize with every single time you perform, and it still works. Beautiful stuff. Harmonizing in a girl group is different than harmonizing in a choir. It's also different than harmonizing around the core concept and idea of a solo artist's voice. I think he knew to use the choreography example because these girls had been dancing as part of their training, and just as they move around the stage taking different positions at different points during the song, girl group harmonies require something like that. Somebody's taking the lead here, somebody's doing an octave lead there, two people are singing a run in harmony there. Everybody just needs to know what they're doing and where, so it all works out fine. As an icing on the cake of the harmony and choreography conversation, I think I have believed for a while now that the soul and heart of one's creativity is transferable to multiple different mediums. When I learned about the value of technique, I realized that at the core, intention and passion are transferable as well. Since it wasn't a purely singing TV reality show, I wasn't mad at the range we got. I mean, a lot of very decent singing, fitting for a girl group with girls who would dance and sing. On the dance side of things, Daniela, Emily, Adela, Naisha, and Megan were really consistent. I feel like the coaches appreciated their work ethic and skill, but I think all the girls really tried, because those moves and the number of times they had to repeat them, that's not easy work. And I feel like that's something that's very valuable about groups and bands, in that everybody can be decent to very good at everything, but man one aspect as their strongest suit, so that it just all comes together as a well-cooked meal. The voting round before the top 20 was announced were such eye-openers. I think it revealed the power that the audience holds in shaping perceptions and deciding what it is that they want and who it is that they want. Nayoung ranks really high in my opinion because status quo. I mean, she's Korean, she's pretty, she can sing, she can dance, etc. Of course, probably good for the group. Sophia ranking highly was one I predicted. I mean, from what I've seen in pageantry, don't play with Filipino fans where there's fan voting, they will show up. And they did show up for their girl. Thankfully, she has the skill, work ethic, and talent to back it up. No, I kept hearing the star quality thing come up. I was like, okay, she's pretty, I see that. But I think it was the audience voting that really confirmed the star power there for me. No shade though. No shade. Adela ranking at the bottom, being bullied and body shamed online was really sad to see because she's been so hardworking and consistent, even dropped out of school to be a part of the program. So naturally I understood her pain even when she spoke about Manon behind her back at the therapy session. While I could still hold space for her hurt, not being chosen by the audience despite her hard work and commitment, I could still hold her accountable for the things she said. How they were framed by production was, that's another conversation, but she said what she said. It was not ill-intended, but it was not in good taste, especially since it was aired. I think the production team didn't do right by her in doing that. It was supposed to be a private moment. Also, the fact that she brought it up again in another episode in conversation with Naisha, it kind of looked like karma when she was eliminated in the therapist episode after she had said that certain people were higher up in the ranks than they deserved, and that maybe Manon was getting favored just simply because she was pretty. That was weird. Somewhere I wonder what part the production team played in this narrative and whether they plan to show the karma for agenda purposes. And that's why I will always encourage some level of self-censorship when people go on reality TV shows. I strongly believe that some of our thoughts and comments are better suited for safer spaces where we can walk through them, and make a healthy way forward. The Mission 1 project brought back memories of the year when I was on an auditioning spree for reality TV shows. One of the tasks I was very excited about and looking forward to was the duet or group ones, and I might have been too excited for what was to come that I failed to deliver at my best to even scale through that far. I always loved the idea of the team tasks because I believe the trick is for everybody to come correct and care enough for the group to scale as a whole, just because that's such a healthy mindset to have and goal to work towards. The girls delivered beautifully. It was lovely to watch Megan and Adela step into that leadership role, helping team members who were slacking catch up with extra rehearsals. That was so good. The scandal episode was quite a weird one. We know that in productions of this size and nature, confidentiality is king, and if information gets out before time, then the element of surprise is lost. But I didn't like how it felt like Naisha was sacrificed. It was particularly sad to see how her eviction was filmed and framed, especially where it looked like she was denying allegations and the denial wasn't being acknowledged or considered. Anybody could have been lying, but seeing as there have been tensions and misconceptions around black women standing up for themselves or being used as scapegoats, it felt kind of weird. In all of these, I have always been honest about my skepticism about how far from reality TV shows can be. Because they have writers, producers, and directors. Anything can be vamped up, toned down, or edited out to push a narrative. For example, the Manon favoritism and the whole idea of her not being deserving to be in the group. Of course, her beauty and aura played a role in her being scouted initially, and she wasn't even down to begin with. And when she agreed, as someone who was green, especially on the dance aspect, she needed some kind of extra coaching before she joined the more experienced girls. And just seeing how well she was able to blend in eventually, I feel like that definitely shows all the work she put in. Honestly, even if her star power played a role in everything, whose fault is it that some of the others didn't have that advantage to push them up the ranks? I think that narrative was pushed to make the story of the show a lot more interesting. We saw Manon fight illness, take breaks, not show up enough, take responsibility, and then show up enough to make the group. I appreciated her session with the female vocal coach who observed that she does have natural vocal talent, and the scene where someone was exclaiming during the Mission 2 video shoot because the star power was palpable through the camera. Even in pageantry, it was one of the things I loved about Katrina Gray Miss Universe 2018 when I first saw videos of her performances. Rosalind Orji, Miss Grand, Nigeria 2024 also had that. You switched too fast, it looks weird. You hold a look for too long, too boring. There's a way, there's a technique, and I feel like Manon had that from the start. I don't know if I've said it already, but I think the show's producers, the coaches, and team as a whole were the real villains of the show. Where do we start? Was it the harshness of the criticisms to the point where some of these girls were actually crying? Like, these were largely teenagers at the time, and I understand that there's some kind of psychological trick about linking drive to emotional pain, but it was just sad to watch, especially considering that as a creative, sometimes there's hardly anything you can do about what's being required of you. I mean, you can only give what you have at any given time, I guess. Next, that yeye tension they synthesized by asking the girls who they would rather be in a group with and then publicizing that information. I feel like there was a lot of other ways that data could have been used to carry out an elimination without sharing it and without creating that tension. I wasn't even mad at Lexi for leaving after it was done because it was so messy. Regardless, I low-key loved Ilya's initial honest reaction. Like, don't be performing any foolish sadness for me, my dears. Only two of you thought I deserved to be in a group with you. Save it. Neat. Also, when they said Nayeon didn't feel or move like she wanted to be in the group after Mission 3 and tabling that as a reason why they eliminated her, weird, because I mean, we saw her, she and Manon in South Korea speaking about how they would be in the group together. So I'm like, was giving grasping at straws for a reason for that elimination. I wasn't mad at the final selection, honestly, because I feel like every one of them brought something unique to the table and clearly as a result of that definitely deserve to be there. Yes, they are racially diverse, but there's just a way about how their looks complement one another. Post show, the group has done really well, and I mean, it's not shocking considering the big label machines they have behind them. They've gone on to release beautiful music like Touch, Gabriella, Game Boy, Gnarly, Internet Girl, and more recently Pinky Up, and they have an EP coming. And for a bit, let's talk about songs like Gnarly, Internet Girl, and Pinky Up. Those songs at the start, they usually don't seem like they are going to do well, but end up showing up really nicely on the catalog. I mean, for me, at first listen, I didn't like any of them, but the production, I think the dance challenges and performances have successfully sold them to me to the point where I now see how and why people can be obsessed with them. It's just so sad that after such an amazing performance as nominees at the 2026 Grammys, the Hiatus theme with Manon came up. And it's also funny because I clicked on the video on the series on Netflix today, started watching and went to bed, woke up the next morning to news everywhere about the Hiatus thing and about how it was looking based on her own message to her fans and reaction to social media posts. The whole thing quickly brought up conversations about the mistreatment of black girls in girl groups. Sadly, there's a track record in the music industry as well as kind of in KATSEYE as a content, but no, just that thing of black girls needing to work 10 times harder to be chosen and respected, and she going against that and respecting her health, prioritizing her health, taking rest while still delivering as a member of the group. And you know, that's kind of an issue that some people have or had with Tyler, and kind of one of the reasons why she was referred to as an uppity African, because she wasn't about to do any humiliation rituals. I'm pretty new to paying attention to the group, so I'm really hopeful for the girls and the group as a whole, whichever direction they choose going forward. As we didn't make it in, I'm particularly excited and happy for how Adela's story has played out. Her solo career is taking off by the day, and I think that kind of confirms the statement about her not being a good fit for the group. A lot of times that's all it is. The organizations know exactly what they want, and sometimes it's not you. That's sad in the moment, but it's all good. She recently opened for Demi Lovato and has been doing really well for herself, even with her latest release, KGB. Kylie has a couple of songs out with right back her latest release, gaining traction and receiving valuable nods. Love it for her. Emily, Lexi and Samara being put together in another girl group on the line to debut under Hybe and Geffen'S. I like that. First for Emily, her dance skills are top tier. She's young and driven, and she worked hard at her vocals until improvements showed up. I mean, she always had a beautiful tone, but it needed work, technically needed work at the start, which she has put in. So I'm excited for her. Lexi, standing on her principles and getting a second chance, way to go. I always believe that she's the total package. Beautiful tone, better than average technique, great dancer, easy on the eyes. I think she looks like a character from a game or an animation, and that kind of look is a money maker, especially for and in a girl group that's supposed to do well in Asia. Samara was always one of the most promising vocalists. I like that her father trained her and passed music down to her. That was so beautiful to watch in the show. For a moment, it felt like it was between she and Manon for the black girl spot for KATSEYE. I think all three of them are such a good fit, aesthetically speaking as well. There's such a softness and innocence that they give off, and then they're about the same height. Just recently, another show where they were looking for a fourth member just came to an end with 16-year-old Sakura Imagine as the final member. The group's name is Sensatin. Honestly, I wish them the best. They've worked really hard. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me, spending all this time. I do not take it for granted. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Leave them down below in the comment section, and also don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It ensures that you do not miss out on any of my future updates. Thank you for sticking with me. See you soon. Be safe.